You're listening to The Founders Network with James Saward Anderson.
Hi everyone and welcome to the show. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but this year at Socially Global, we are really focused on learning. And one of the critical pillars of our learning journey is to become an organization which grows massively in revenue and profits. And in order to achieve that, we need to get really good at sales. And that is why we are working with David Thomson, who is founder of Influence Business, a company which teaches the art of science and influence. And I'm very, very happy to have the man himself in the studio today.
Yeah, well, today you're going to have a really great day. I'm going to share with you some really cool insights about the science of persuasion and influence. You know, some of the stuff that you're learning, we'll go through. I'll test you to make sure you've been learning your magic so far.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that this year is the best year you've ever had in business in terms of, you know, you're twice what you were last year. So the goal is, can we double your business this year by applying the science of persuasion and influence at least? And my guess is, from working and, you know, meeting the team, that we can. And so that's the magic. That's what we're going to do. We're going to install science into what you do, make sure that you're significantly more learned people by the end of this program. And as you make transformations, make sure the business is growing and people feel empowered, inspired, and achieve some incredible things.
It's been absolutely incredible, some of the things you've been teaching us in the business. And I'm keen to really see that a lot of what you teach really comes from, I suppose, your own past and your story. So I'd be really keen to kind of hear more, and the listeners to really find out about your story and kind of how this all came to be. How did you get to the point where you're effectively changing how people sell?
So what we're talking about here is the science of persuasion and influence. Personally, I've been coached by the world's leading social psychologist on this subject, a guy called Dr. Robert Cialdini, and I'm one of his certified instructors, one of a handful of instructors that can teach both of his persuasion courses. And for those of you guys who do or don't know Cialdini, he's the guy that was the social psychologist responsible for the Barack Obama campaign, the Change campaign. And I've been coached by him. Also, I've built and sold businesses for millions. But it wasn't always like that. You know, growing up as a child, you know, we were really poor. At 16, I'd left school with no qualifications, nothing at all. So you don't have to have a academic background to be really successful. I joined the army, and then I started to learn about the magic of persuasion and influence, and it transformed my life, made me the top financial advisor in the UK, and discovered this formula that, you know, we'll share with you today. And for me, it was like coming out of the light and into the dark, like BC and AD and BC. That's what it was like, you know. So that's what this formula can do for you and for your business. And it helped me in my business build it from nothing to being worth millions and sell it for millions.
It's quite a bold undertaking to try and unlock how people become more persuasive and how you persuade people. How did that come to be? Like,
for me, what it was I'd got a job in the early 90s in sales, and I wanted to know how I could keep this job. And my job was an insurance salesperson, and I wanted to know how I could keep this job, because before that, I was a factory operative and I was earning £130 a week. And as a financial advisor working in the insurance industry, I earned that doing one case, doing one sale. And I thought, wow, this is an opportunity for me to be really successful, and I have to keep that. So from 1990 to 2020, where we are today, 30 years on, every day I've learned something about persuasion and influence, discovered neurolinguistic programming, pitching, framing, and obviously more recently working with Dr. Cialdini and teaching it as a science. And what I've found is when I applied it to my life, it transformed my life. When I transformed it to my business, it transformed my business. And now I'm helping other people, more recently, the British Standards Institute, transform their business. And, and obviously with you guys, you know, I love the energy. I love the message, what you guys are doing. And I want to make sure that you can scale this business and make it into a Google in this industry.
Well, I try.
That's possible. Yeah, well,
we're trying this here. And I think that's one of the things that was really interesting about the program was you can work with a good attitude. And I think that I had that idea just generally, and it was really good to be reinforced by kind of what you said. And Do you think that's the most, if you were to say, like, have business leaders in the room or head of sales teams, would you say the most important ingredient for sales transformation is the right attitude?
The right attitude's one of the things. I mean, if you want to transform a business, then making sure that everybody's on the same page and they've got a real education, that's what moves the needle. I mean, more recently, I've been working with the British Standards Institute in Milton Keynes and also all over the world. The first thing that was missing from my perspective walking in the door was the people weren't learned people when it came to the science of persuasion and influence. If you'd ask them, what do you know about social psychology, the shortcuts that people take day in and day out to apply them to the business, most people didn't have a clue. I'm like, I don't know. What do you know about neuro-linguistic programming? I don't know. What about negotiation? I don't know. And so we'll go into those things. So I said, okay, what we need to do then is we need to start teaching your people how to be outstanding. And we did that digitally. So I've got a digital learning platform where people can go learn just in time. And, you've been on it.
Yeah, over Christmas Day.
Yeah, and so there's 250 modules. And so what we did was we changed the advert. So normally when businesses, like the BSI, had 9 vacancies that they couldn't fill at the time because they're working in Milton Keynes, that is a full employment city. And they're like, we've got 9 vacancies, we can't fill them. Yeah. And I'd said, okay, let's change the job advert. Let's make sure that we go out and we start looking for the right kind of things. Yeah. So, and the right kind of things were, how about we look for people with energy to energize others, passion, edge, execution. How about they live locally because people aren't going to drive from the other side of the moon to there. And then also, are these people coachable? Can we coach them? Will they listen to instruction? And are they organized? So when we started changing it, instead of saying about background, experience and qualifications to attitudes, values and skills, and we changed the advert to say, we're going to teach you neuro-linguistic programming, pitching, framing, influence, all of these skills, they started to employ the kind of graduates that you would dream about. People coming out of universities that were really hungry to get on. But today, if you're trying to employ the Gen Z kids or the millennials, what they want to be promoted quickly. Yeah. So what we were doing was empowering them with a toolkit that could help them make a transformation.
You think that anyone can be good at sales, but you have to have the right energy, the right values and the right attitude effectively.
Well, anybody can be significantly more persuasive and influential if they apply the science of persuasion and influence. Anybody. So, for example, if we talk about influence just as a topic, social psychology. So there's 3 core motives in influence. The first one is establishing relationships. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing that we look to do with people. The next thing is overcoming uncertainty. Mm-hmm. And the last thing is motivating action. And so we'll look at that later on, motivating action. And there's 2 influence principles, 2 shortcuts that we take as human beings to establish relationships. Yeah. And those 2 influence principles are the principle of liking and the principle of reciprocity. Yeah. So if we take reciprocity first, right, people feel obliged to give back to you the same kind of behavior that you've given to them. Yeah. So the 2 magic words are obligation and behavior. Yeah. Obligation. So if I remember your birthday with a gift, when it comes to my birthday, if you know it's my birthday and you can remember it, guess what you feel like you need to do?
Yeah.
What?
Give you a gift?
Give me a gift, completely. And Christmas, just went recently. If somebody sends you a Christmas card, what do you think? Oh shit, I've got to go and get them a card, even if you bought all your cards. Yeah. So we feel obliged to give back to somebody else what they've given to us, be that positive or negative. Yeah. So if somebody does you a good turn, then you want to do them a good turn. Yeah. If somebody does you a bad turn, you can't wait to do them a bad turn or enjoy when they fall, right? So that's the deal. What that does is that builds relationships. So if I do you a favor, you owe me a favor. Yeah. So instead of when you walk into a room, if you're trying to get a relationship with somebody new, what you ask is not, how can this person help me? What you ask is, how can I help this person? Right. How can I help them? That should be the first thought in your head. Because if you can help them, guess what they'll want to do when it comes to helping you?
They'll want to help you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and the gifts don't naturally have to be the same size. You might do them a small favor and they can do you a huge favor because they've formed a relationship with you.
And just to kind of fill everyone in, that we are actually at Social Global undergoing a sales transformation as we speak, and we're documenting our progress And so you'll be seeing loads of content from us, how we're getting on. But for outside of us, how can people get in touch with you? Like, what's the process of people, getting involved, and how do they kind of.
So it's David Thomson, and then it's CMCT, Cialdini Method Certified Trainer. So that's how you'll find me. So if you type into LinkedIn, David Thomson, CMCT, and I'll be happy to help you, transform your life, transform your business. And it's exciting.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And thank you so much for coming down. And we'll be speaking to you very soon.
Thank you very much. Been a pleasure. Thanks very much, guys. It's brilliant.
Cheers.
Thanks.